course, I'm not ready here. All right, Tony, do the intro. No,
Right
Tony,
now.
do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, in TV land, Merry Christmas early. We got some things going on today where we're going to style, smile, make it worthwhile. We got the man in the shower. What's up, Bentley? And then we got Shotgun Spencer Cadigan. And then you got me. It's all about the TMP. Baby, Shotgun, unload.
All right, everybody. Another amazing edition of Sports and Tacos coming at you. We should, Greg Vaughn might be stopping in. Bama might be stopping in from the airport. But just like always, there's a million things to talk about right now in sports. We'll run the intro real quick and we will dive in to all kinds of sports ball. All right, sports ball, sports ball. So,
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry holidays and all the things. We're coming into the greatest time of year when football is like, if you can think of it like a July 4th fireworks show. We're coming into the buildup of the grand finale, slowly but surely. For sure with college, but slowly but surely with the NFL. So I kind of wanted to wait for Greg Vaughn to hop on because honestly, I wanted to start off with Ricky Henderson passing away yesterday. And that's
Young,
crazy, man.
too.
I know, 65 years old, dude. I mean, do you agree, Tony? Every time something like that happens, because, we're about the same age, it's almost like a little piece of my childhood kind of like dies. You know what I'm saying?
I do. Seems like every year we get older, one of the heroes fall.
Yeah. I mean, I'm. Can you name any leadoff hitter that that you would rather have ever in the history of baseball than than Ricky Henderson?
You know what? I would have to say, I can't think of one on the top of my mind because it was always Ricky.
I mean,
And man, if you needed that stolen base, he'll give it to you, and then he'll also win the game for you because he's still in bases, man.
like,
God bless you. Rest in peace, my friend.
just imagine being a pitcher and just anytime Ricky Henderson got on base, what a nightmare that must have been to concentrate on the batter, knowing that Ricky Henderson is on first base, and then Ricky Henderson's on second base, and then next thing you know, he's on third base. Like that had to just Ricky Henderson, man. What
Well,
a weapon.
besides pitchers hating him, I bet all the catchers hated him because man, sometimes maybe one in a blue moon they'll get him out, but most of the time that boy's already on second before that catcher unleashes.
Like in his strike zone, that crazy little batting stance. That strike zone was like 6 inches tall. You know, if you were
Yeah, but he's
measuring
not. He
between,
wasn't the tallest guy, so that always helps out.
that's what I'm saying. Like when he would crouch down, like that strike zone was so small. But yeah, anyways, just you know, R.I.P. to the greatest leadoff hitter of all time. I mean,
Agreed.
it's kind of nuts. Like because he wasn't very, old. 65. That's not that old. But I'm, my whole life I've been collecting cards. If you ever come across a 1980 Ricky Henderson rookie card, okay, and it just kind of speaks for how great Ricky Henderson's career was. dude, if you find one in mint condition, like I want to say it's there's been a couple that have been like gem mint tens. I think they've sold for like half a million to like $1 million. I mean, he's like in the baseball world, he's just straight legend. And that's you don't see those kind of prices for cards usually until you get back into like the 50s. I mean, that's a
Right.
card that was made in 1980. That's not in card terms that long ago. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Shotgun Bentley, you guys will both understand this. Look at all these base runners now. You know, gosh darn it, their hero just passed away as much as everybody else's too. It's one of those they learned it off of him saying, "I want to be like Ricky."
I mean, if he's kind of like the Nolan Ryan of base stealing. These days, if you steal 50 bases these days, that's a ton. I mean, didn't Ricky have 120 stolen bases one season?
130
I-
something.
That's just. I mean, he again. He's
Can
like
you
he was
guys
like
hear
the
me?
no. Yeah,
Yeah,
we can hear. How's it going, Greg?
Hey, what's up? He had over 130 a couple times.
That's
dang,
insane. I mean, he is the Nolan Ryan. He was the Nolan Ryan of base stealing, besides being the greatest leadoff hitter of all time.
right?
So,
Right.
so
Well, Tommy
Greg,
John has 50 and they're making a big deal.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
right. Well, see, for instance, Greg will back me up on this. With the base runners these days, you got the Atlanta Braves runner when he's healthy. You got the Cincinnati boy that's unbelievable. All these guys looked up to this man. God's sake, they're all, I want to be just like Ricky. Like I said before, all these runners, man, they're hero.
Yeah. So I mean, just pretty unprecedented. When I saw that headline yesterday, I was at work and it was pretty shocking, you know, seeing that.
How did he pass away?
He got pneumonia from the flu. I knew 2 days ago, but I didn't know if it was true or not. So, you know,
Man.
yeah.
Man,
So just with all the uncertainty, but like I said, he was a friend. I mean, he back in that back in that era, man. I mean, like every team had 7, 8 African Americans that were on a team, and so when you were young and you looked like them, they took care of you. You know what I mean? And we became real close. And it's just one of those things. Earlier, this month we lost Merv Retman too. Who I think was the best batting instructor for me. I know he made a world of difference between him and Tony Gwynn, a world of difference. In my career. So uh, it's been a rough month, and it's been a rough that Padres team. Man, we lost way too many people off of that team. But me and Ricky go back to shoot when I first got drafted, and growing up in Northern California, man, I mean, how can he not be your hero? You know what I mean? How can he, Bobby Bonds, you know, Willie McCovey, you grew up, that's why I'm so diehard Giants, 49ers, and it was, the Warriors, but we have the Kings in sack now. But I mean, that's who I grew up watching and idolizing. Everyone wanted to be like Ricky. He had the power, he had the
Dude.
moxie, he had the flair, he had the style, he had the charisma, and it was fun to watch. And when I jumped on just now, I heard you guys talking about stealing bases isn't important because the analytic guys, just like football. And did you see the thing with the NBA basketball now? The analytic guys also said shoot threes. That's what threes are more important than twos. But if you can't make threes and you can't rebound, then you got a bad product, right?
Yep.
So it, I mean, you have to have some type of human element with it. Look at all these guys that followed last year in the NFL that followed analytics. 4th and 1 on your own 20. Are you kidding me? You're gonna go for that 4th and 1 on your own 20, and
Yeah.
it's they've never played, so to them it's easy to look at a computer and put a bunch of data in it, and say, okay, we crunched the numbers and this is what it says. But who are you gonna have to execute it? And what are the conditions? Is our top guy running like he's running? Is the line moving people like they're moving people? There's a lot of factors that come into playing sports, man. And I give it up to your Chargers the other day. Harbaugh is a football man. And,
Yep.
I didn't like what he did to my 49ers, but hey, 4th and 1, 4th and 2. Hey, I'm kicking field goals. I'm kicking field goals. I'm kicking field goals until I can score a touchdown and they win the game. These other guys, they're going for it, and the game's over in the first quarter.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They're playing catch up the whole time.
I,
So you have to find a way to have both. You can't just have one. You have to find a
well,
way
and
to.
I just one thing I think about with a guy like Ricky Henderson, how momentum shifting. Think about if the bats are kind of going dry. Ricky gets on base, then he steals second. You know what I'm saying? Then he steals third. Like he literally could just switch. Just he could like turn on the momentum of a team by himself. But
But
nobody's hitting. All you got to do is get Ricky on base.
yeah, like I said, he took over a game. He disrupted the game. Uh, during that era, you had Vince Coleman. You had Rock Range. I mean, everybody could run back then. Everybody. First baseman could run. You had Dave Park. I mean, you had everyone that can run. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's when the game was exciting. Now, you have guys that never played once again saying that's not important. You tell me if I can get to third base less than 2 outs and all I got to do is hit a ground ball and I get a run, that's
Dude.
way easier than trying to get a 3-run home run or a hit with a guy on second base. You know what I mean?
You know, I
And,
I think it would. I think it would be interesting if somebody were to go back and look at his career stats. How many games he was responsible for going into the second inning, being responsible for his team being up at least 1-0.
probably 95% of the games he played in because he either
It
walked
was
and he
just
turned it into a
incredible.
triple, or
How
if he
and then
didn't.
then you could also go back and look at how many that his games that he played that they won by 1 run.
But what you don't understand too is how it affects the lineup. Even when I was coming up, you know, we had Pat Listash, Rookie of the Year, but we back then everyone ran except Detroit Tigers. You know what I mean?
Right.
They didn't run because they have big boppers and they were just going to 3-run jacks all over the place. But
Yep.
everyone ran. You don't understand what it's like having somebody that can steal bases in front of you. Now my pitches just got better to hit, so it
Yep.
affects the whole you know volume of the game. It flips the script in the whole game of the game planning and how you pitch to a lineup and what you do. But it is what it is.
I just
Instead,
I think about too, like, just how nerve wracking it had have been for pitchers anytime Ricky Henderson got on base. Think about, now you have to worry about, okay, Greg Vaughn's up to bat, but you got Ricky Henderson on first base. That had to have been just the most nerve wracking thing, because if you're trying to concentrate on Greg Vaughn or Gary Sheffield, next thing you know, Ricky's on second. Next thing you know, he's on third. Next thing there's
we can
only
hit a
one
ground
out, and Greg Vaughn hits a long fly ball, but it's a 1-0 game all of a sudden
or, or,
because
or
Ricky
a
Henderson
ground
is
ball
on
or,
base.
or ground ball. I've never seen a person affect the game like he affected the game. I
It's
mean, you
just,
had you had Vince Coleman, during his times. You
yeah,
had
yeah.
Rock Reigns. Yeah, but Ricky was the GOAT. You know what I mean? He was the GOAT. He was the man that affected more games than anybody else, I think, in baseball.
Just
See,
And
like,
like what I was saying earlier, and Greg, you'll probably get it too. Hey man, I know the pitchers probably hate him, but I bet the ones that hated him most was the catchers because they try to throw him out.
yeah, but they can. So they're trying to call fastballs to get them out, and now these guys are hitting balls all over the ballpark. But so, like I said, it affects so it affects the game like people don't understand. Like I said, it's so much easier, and we gone away from that to hit a ground ball to second or shortstop for the guy on third than it is to get a base hit. But they
yeah,
don't play for that now, and that's why you said, sports are exciting, but they're not. I think the quality isn't as good, and the players are way more athletic, way better, way more talented. I mean, all the information they have. I just think you can be information overboard sometimes. You know what I mean?
yeah.
You got to find a way for the guys at top that are humble, be humble enough to listen to the guys that have done it, so they can work together instead of just saying this is the way we're going to do it.
Yeah.
and that's it. You look at all the teams that win.
Yeah.
They either have a former coach,
Agreed.
for former players on their staff, whether it's the NBA or they just go out and buy the best players in the world. But good players make good coaches. And you look
Yeah.
at the Dodgers. The Dodgers don't strike out. Dodgers make productive outs. They play defense. They steal bases. They run hard. That's why they win championships. And they do have the highest payroll. But if that's the case, the Yankees had the highest payroll for about
Ever.
100 years out of having this league. And
Yep.
that doesn't guarantee you
No.
got to buy into what you're selling, man, and you got to have the right person at the front at the top.
The actor in me, if I was the coach of a baseball team, I would make every team watch Bull Durham and Major League, just because it's kind of the anti-analytics, like the unwritten rules, the superstitions, all those things are all part of the game. It's
It's just like
analytics.
being the human element. I mean,
Yes, the
the,
human
a-
element. You've taken it out of the game.
yeah, the analytics are the people controlling it. I don't want to say it's bad because I believe information is good, but everybody's not Steph Curry.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Everybody's not Steph Curry. Everybody's
somebody's.
not Patrick Mahomes. Everyone doesn't run the quarterback sneak like Tom Brady did. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You have to have people that
know the role.
everyone's role is different. I mean, and you
Yep,
have to have someone leading them that can coach them to whatever their strengths and weaknesses are.
yep.
Everyone has the same team rules,
I
but
and yet,
everyone's
Greg,
buttons are different.
Greg, I'm gonna assume because you played for Bruce Bochy, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna assume Bruce Bochy is a master of those unwritten human elements of the game, right?
He is. Bruce Bochy, when he was my coach, uh, and just knowing him and being around him, he let us police the locker room. He let the players do what they had to do. But we all knew one thing: you have to play hard, and
Yep,
what he expected of you. He was a lifetime backup catcher, right?
yep,
So he knows how tough it was to play this game.
yep,
Lifetime backup catcher. He knows how tough it is to play the game.
yep,
So you had that empathy. When you were struggling, that he could put his arm around you and lift you up, and he knew what buttons to push, and the communication. See, that's the thing. Communication was always good. On my bad teams, communication was horrible from the
yep,
top to the bottom. But with the good ones, you know where you stand. It's a straight shot, and communication is good. I don't want to have to read between the lines, and both, the delivery. Sometimes it needs to be rougher than others or sterner than other times, but the delivery is the key, just like in life, right? Whether
yep,
it's home, your everyday, the delivery is the key to how something comes across and how people perceive it or take it.
yep. All right. Well, just yeah, Ricky Henderson gone. Too young, man. A legend. Straight legend. So I didn't like I was telling Tony, it just every time something like that happens, it's like a little bit of my childhood kind of dies. You know,
Yeah. Yep.
these kids these days, they never, they didn't get to watch. I mean, before we got the Rockies in Denver, I was the world's biggest A's fan. Ricky Henderson, Canseco, McGuire, Dennis Eckersley, Dave Parker. Or yeah, I think Dave Parker was on that team. Dave Henderson, freaking just I just it's just a little bit of like, you know, my childhood kind of goes away. So, but anyways, we have a ton to get to, ton of football to get to today. But I just wanted to spend some
Hey,
time talking.
shotgun, real quick.
Sure.
All the teams in the playoffs won yesterday. They deserve to win, and that's why they're the position where they're at now.
I want to start. I want to let's start right there. Okay, we're going into today, guys. In my opinion, the three best games of the week have already been played. Is that just
Mhm.
kind of bad planning on the NFL's part?
Season's too long now.
Well, okay, you got number one, the Broncos and Chargers on Thursday night. I understand that's a primetime game. I hate Thursday night football, but
I hate
okay,
it too.
I get it. Okay, you have a big game on Thursday night. What in the hell were the Chiefs Texans and then Steelers Ravens doing playing at the same time as college football playoff games? Who scheduled that?
Got to
I tell
fire
you what,
Goodell.
he has too much juice. You know what I mean?
Too much.
But but I mean, I Hey, I watched all of them.
I mean,
I love having everything on.
82.
I know, but like, is
It
there
was
no?
a
I mean,
special day.
what
Yes, it
did
was.
they knew that the college football playoff games were going to be on at the same time as those two games. Like, why couldn't they have just pushed those games to
Yeah.
today?
But
Could have
because, you
maybe
know,
helped maybe
the
Sunday
NFL's
night
been
games
away
are
for.
great, Monday night football, but the sport right now unfortunately has been cheapened with Goodell just putting more international, making the season longer. We love football, but that's what
So,
makes it amazing
just
is
grief.
the shortest time sport, and now you're adding more games, and now you're just like throwing it out there on a Saturday, which was a terrible
I
decision.
just didn't know. I did. Okay, first of all, I didn't even know because all I cared about yesterday was college
Yeah,
football.
same.
And then all of a sudden, I'm at work and you got the Texans and the Chiefs, which is a
Yes.
huge game. And then you have the Steelers and the Ravens, which is an even bigger game
Yeah.
while we're trying to watch college football playoffs.
When you find out who
Yep.
your college fans are and you find out who your NFL fans are, or you like me, just split the screen in half and watch both of them. And when it gets to be a blowout on the college side, I guess it was full screen on the Steelers side and the Kansas City side, and that's. I mean, I'll never complain about too many sports. I just hate the two games on Monday night or Thursday night that start at the same time
I
or
know. Yeah, that's
a half
ridiculous.
hour apart. To me, that's crazy.
It and you somebody between college and NFL you would think communicates. They had to have known that the college football playoff games were on at the same time as those games yesterday. Like,
Yeah, but they,
six
hey,
months or a year
shotgun, they
ago.
have to. They have to because look at the process. What the championship game for the college playoffs will be what January 20th. So they got to get some start on
Yeah,
because then
so
because next week starts the actual bowl games.
yeah, the real stuff starts.
And
Is it on? Hey guys, does it start on Thursday? Is one of those games on Thursday, or is it the weekend? Does anybody
The
know
weekend.
the weekend? Okay,
yeah, all I know is this: CSU plays on Saturday at the Snoop Dogg Bowl, and then later on that day, CU uh, plays later on that evening against Miami,
got it.
and
Okay,
then and then at the same time, it's a Denver day because the Broncos play at 2 o'clock.
the Bengals. Yes.
Yep, Saturday.
Oh,
Oh, that's gonna
okay.
be a
So,
good game.
just real quick, Lane Kiffin came out yesterday talking all kinds of smack about the new 12-team playoff and the participation trophy teams and the blowouts. Do you guys agree or disagree that it should just be the 12 best teams? How? Okay, number one, how does Boise State get a bye? I get it; they won their conference. It's how they agreed upon everything, but you're not seeing good games. You're seeing the participation trophy teams get blasted so far.
Well, for instance, like what Greg was saying earlier about switching back to forth. That's what I was doing. I took Penn State, I gave the points, and then all of a sudden they just unleashed. It was boring to watch SMU because the first two possessions that SMU had threw back to back sixes. But
Yeah.
then you go on. The game was just a blowout. All of them next year will be different for a lot of these. I like the conference champions get the buys. I get it. But at the same time, may the best team win be in.
I just, dude, if I'm Ole Miss, if I'm South Carolina, if I'm even like Missouri, who is a three-loss SEC team, I'm kind of pissed. I think
Well,
all
look,
three
hey,
of
hey,
those
hey, hey,
teams.
hey, you
Listen, I
just
think
said it.
all three of those teams would knock off Indiana, SMU, or Boise State.
You just said it. Alabama got robbed by SMU, and SMU went in, and look what happened. I
Yeah, okay.
think
I guess I
Alabama.
forget about Alabama not even getting in. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
well, now guess what? We get to play them in the Tampa Bay Bowl.
so. Do you guys agree or disagree that it should just be seeds and the 12 best teams? Period. Agree or
But
disagree, Tony or Greg Vaughn?
for me, um, but once again, that's someone's objective and their opinion because their 12 might not be someone else's best 12, and so on and so forth. So This
Agreed.
this debate's been going on for however long the playoffs, and it's going to continue to go on. You know, uh, people sitting in Indiana, people sitting in Boise, they think the best teams got in. So it's your objective that they didn't get in. So we can argue about this all day, but with family coming in and just getting back into town, I got to get my picks in real quick.
Oh, okay, cool, cool, cool.
Ah,
So,
baby, yeah.
all right. Tony, I guess you already got we already have the text, but Tony, just for anybody watching, go ahead and give us your pick of the day. I want to start making that like crystal clear because just so everybody knows, we're about to put out a press release because me and Bama have gone back for the entire football season, and just so everybody knows, the Sports and Tacos crew has hit almost 80% of our picks for an entire season. Like that's pretty unheard of. 80% for the entire season if you go back and watch the video. So Tony,
Not too
anyways,
shabby, huh?
Tony, give everybody your money picks. What's the pick of
My
the day?
pick of the day. Hey guys, this is for extra Christmas cash so you could go buy that beautiful thing for your wife, your girlfriend, whoever. All right, my pick of the day. Detroit going to Chicago. Detroit winning against the beat up Chicago, and I'm giving up the 7.
Okay. So Lions -7. Lions to cover the 7. I like that one. I'm what
And my
Greg
second
Vaughn.
pick,
Yeah, sorry,
my
Tony, go ahead.
and my second pick, man, I like Philadelphia Eagles. I, it's 4-point spread. I love it. Washington didn't really impress me last week or the last couple of weeks. I like Philadelphia. They're strong.
Got it. Got it. Cool. Any other picks that people just can't live without, Tony?
Well, hey, Buffalo Bills is on fire. They're playing a young Patriots team. I'll give the 14 points up on that. I will. I will.
You saying you're taking the Patriots or you're taking the Bills?
Oh, I'm taking Buffalo.
Okay, hey, listen, right now I disagree with you on that. For some reason, and I'm not a Patriots guy whatsoever, just that line is so huge. I think the Bills aren't going to be getting up for that game. I'll put another 20 tacos. Give me the
You're at
Patriots
90 with me, kid. You're at
plus the
90.
14. Another 20 tacos.
And
What about
then
the
the
Bengals?
night game. Hey, the night game I actually do like. I like Tampa and giving up the 4. Tampa has something to prove. Dallas, they got everything to lose. And the
What's
one game I also like in the morning, like I said, I like all the morning games.
right?
Like the Cardinals going to Carolina and -5.5. Hey, I like giving that up. Connor's been doing good. That young Buck has been doing good. Birdie's doing good. And even their quarterback's doing pretty good. I like Arizona, but for a fun game, Jacksonville Jaguars going into Vegas. Vegas is giving up 2.5. I'll take the Jags. I
Jags
will take
plus
the
the two
Jags
and a
on
half.
that.
How
Yeah.
about Browns Bengals?
The Browns and the Bagels game, that could go either way. It's the Battle of Cleveland.
I like the Browns in that game just because it's 9.5. And Jameis almost came into Denver and beat the Broncos. I think the Broncos and the Bengals are about the same tier team right now. So I
Yeah,
mean it's almost a 10-point spread. I'll take the Browns for
I
some
I do
reason.
like the Browns in this one. You got a healthy Ford in the backfield, and he's been stepping up. Look what he did last week. But at the same time, they don't have Nick Chubb, but they do have
The other
a
guy,
decent wide receiver right now. He's been doing all right with them. And
yeah.
he came from the Denver Broncos. He's trying to make a
Oh my
point.
God, Judy, that's right.
Yeah,
Judy all of a sudden goes to
yeah,
Cleveland and becomes a star.
yeah. I
He
know,
needed he
right?
needed he needed a quarterback, dude. He's
That's
always
true.
been good.
Good
I
point.
mean,
Jerry Judy probably had a star.
yeah, he always needed. Yeah, I have
But
to say
hey,
something.
Go ahead.
But Jameson isn't quarterback, and the other kid is People's whatever.
Oh, Jameis isn't quarterbacking today?
No,
Oh,
but
oh.
at the same time, all right, America, this is what I like to do for a parlay. If you're into the parlay stuff, not like shotgun there, but I like Philadelphia giving up the points, Cardinals giving up the points, and Detroit for giving up the points. for a 3-game parlay for the morning. That will be awesome. And I think they will all cover nicely.
Got it. Greg Vaughn, what's your pick of the day, Greg?
Uh, I'm a Tony. I like the Lions and I
Got it.
like the Eagles. Right, in
Cool.
Vegas right now it's 3.5. I don't know if that's still it or not, but
It
I
moved
mean,
up to 4.
and the way they're running the ball, I mean, they're going to stick with it. I think the coach has finally bought in that. You know, I mean, why throw it? 30 times if you can run it and still just be just as effective and shorten the game. And
It
and
does
like,
hurt that
eh,
it does hurt that they lost Montgomery though.
yeah, and I like the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Attaboy. See, there's a 4-game parlay right there where actually that's what I'm gonna do.
Cool.
What about I got a little surprise here? What do you think? I think the Vikings will lose at Seahawks today.
I was thinking the same thing. There's a chance,
I
and
didn't want to touch it. I didn't
it's
want to
at
touch it.
it's at Seattle, and that's a hard place to win. I think I'm, you know, I'm still not. God, it's kind of crazy. They're 12-2. I'm
I'm
not a
not sold on
believer
Vikings either.
in the Vikings still, but if the Vikings go in and win that game today, man, maybe they do got something. But
But what about
I,
what about the Jets and Rams too? I'm all over the Rams right now. Even being a 49er fan, but the
yeah,
Jets might win. I mean, I, I don't know if they can beat them.
yeah, I looked at that game. I, that's probably a good one. Honestly, that's probably a good one.
I'm like
Also,
Tony
so
though. If it's too good and I don't have a good feeling, I stay away from it.
yeah,
Yeah. See, and
but
if I had to choose something on the Rams and the 49ers games, I'd actually take the Rams. Their running
The
attack,
Rams
that
are playing.
guy.
They're playing the They're playing the Jets today.
yeah,
Oh, jeez. Oh, man, gosh, you
They're
got me.
they're giving up 3 to the Jets at home.
I'll
Jets are
take. I
dogs
would
at
take
home.
it. I would take it.
Really think the Jets will win?
No, Jets will
Oh,
lose.
oh, okay, yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, the Rams got that. Yeah.
Yeah, even after last week's victorious win, you know that they're going to be guarding that double teaming their number one wide receiver that came from Vegas to be with the boy. I think they're going to double team him like crazy. I just don't see they're going to have the same kind of love like they did last week.
No, no.
cool. All right.
Uh,
Well, anybody got? If we don't have any more picks, I just want to. I want to get Bentley's feedback about the Broncos and Chargers.
What a game.
Good job.
you
Dude,
guys,
Should have been a
I got
Sunday
to go
night
run
game.
real quick. I got to run. But
okay, Greg. Thank you for coming on. We'll
okay,
uh, we'll see you next week. I'll be in touch this week with you, Greg.
okay, all right.
We
Thank
got
you.
a,
Okay,
like I
Merry
said, we got a whole bunch
Christmas,
of stuff
buddy.
going on.
Merry Christmas to you guys too.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Merry Christmas, guys. Okay, so Bentley, uh, what's his face is a good quarterback. God dang, Herbert.
Oh, the guy came from Michigan, that right?
No, he came from Oregon.
He's a duck.
Oh, you're talking about
No,
Jim
no, I
Harbaugh.
thought you were talking about their head coach.
No, their head coach is good too, but
Yeah.
Justin Herbert, dude. I mean, I've always known he's a good quarterback, but like,
He looked.
he shredded one of the top defenses in the NFL.
It's Jim Harbaugh, man. Hey, who's the star in the team? Like, really, there's a bunch of nobodies literally on that team. And
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh has got these guys fighting and believing, and that's great coaching. So I do believe the Chargers, they're a young team. They're only going to get a little better, but they have a great coach, and it starts inside the locker room with Harbaugh and the whole staff and everybody. Look how great they're playing. They are fighting. You don't see them quit. They are fighting.
Yeah.
Denver is only going to get better. I mean, remember, this is Bo Nick's first year.
Yeah.
So how much could you expect out of him? But
Yeah.
seriously, Denver is always going to be a dangerous team, and I will always throw Denver no matter what. If they get into the playoffs, hey, Denver always has a chance. That's for sure. And same, Denver will only get better. So it's going to be an exciting division. Imagine the next season, 2 seasons, if everything stays intact and it builds, it's going to be great.
Dude, the AFC West could be the toughest division in football moving forward.
Yeah.
Because the Chargers ain't going nowhere, the Chiefs ain't going nowhere, and the Broncos, they look like they finally found a quarterback. And if they keep that defense together, like the AFC West is going to be crazy good
It's going to be great
moving
if we
forward.
keep everything intact. I mean, yeah, it's going to be a
I mean,
great
I
division.
was so angry about losing that game. I mean, God, we had so much. Tony, what do you
The
think?
only thing, the only thing I can say about that game, and it was a great game. It was a great game. Usually how the Chargers are a first half team. It turned around where we were the first half team, where we're never the first half
Yeah.
team. But at the same time, I just feel like it was an outcoached, outplayed, and it was hard to do the comeback. But it was one, including when they did the comeback on us, you just saw everything disappearing, and it was just the better coach won and outcoached the other coach.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Harbaugh, man. I mean, again, he has the team motivated. They're fighting. And again, who the hell's the star in the Chargers? They got like literally a bunch of young or nobodies. And I mean, who, McConkey? I don't know. I mean,
I just, you know, Bo Nix is a rookie, and Justin Herbert, I've been saying for years, reminds me of a lot of John Elway at times. He's got the cannon. He can move around in the pocket. Like he's the same to me. The two teams are kind of identical. All they really need now, the Broncos and the Chargers, is the team to be put around them, and they
yep.
both could be competing for Super Bowls in the near future.
Well, they both got the coach. That's for sure. Now
Yeah,
they finally got the coach and they have the
they
quarterback.
and it honestly, like older I get, the more that I realize how, and this just comes from 9 years of missing the playoffs and then finally getting Sean Payton, just how the number one most important person in an NFL organization, in my opinion, is the quarterback. Number two is the coach.
I'll throw number two, the coach, if it's an offensive style coaching, because that's right now. If you see when a quarterback gets hurt, if they have an offensive style head coach, they can make a backup play pretty good.
Yes.
I think the Paytons, the Harbaughs, the Shanahan. I'll throw these guys in there right now, and then the coach maybe for the Bengals. These
Yeah.
guys,
Pittsburgh.
yeah, Pittsburgh. No, I'm sorry. Who?
the so and I've been saying this for a couple of years to Greg Vaughn,
Dolphins.
to Greg Vaughn about the Niners. They are literally just a quarterback away from winning a Super Bowl. That's it. They're the exact opposite of the Chargers and the Broncos. They have everything else around. They have the team to win the Super Bowl. They have the coach to win the Super Bowl. They're just lacking that. They have a good quarterback, but that great quarterback. That's all that
Yeah.
they. That's all they're missing.
Yeah, and again, that's the league today. I think as long as you got a good offensive style head coach who comes from that background, hey, they could turn a team around pretty quick because then they just get a defensive coordinator and say, "Here you go, take care of it. We'll handle all this and score the points."
Yeah.
So I think if Denver and I'll see the Chargers and we got Andy Reid in there, yeah, we got the next few seasons here. It could be pretty fun and some great primetime games.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you add a bunch of good draft picks to the Chargers and the Broncos, dude. Who knows? Who knows what the future holds for those two
It could be
teams?
dangerous. It could be dangerous. AFC West could be back to normal again.
Yeah.
Where unfortunately the Raiders are the Raiders, and you know where that goes.
I
You
was
know,
I was I
and
was
here's one more
texting.
thing. Here's the flip side with the Raiders. Maybe because Brady's got some, a little clout there with Davis. Maybe Brady could say, "Hey, I have some suggestions. Can we throw him in there?" Or I don't know if that's even possible or not. But
Maybe,
yeah,
maybe. I was talking to Joe this morning,
God,
and
Raiders, yeah, they need something.
Joe thinks that they're gonna tank the rest of the season because they want Shadur Sanders.
Yeah. See, that's why, I know tanking sounds bad, including for an NFL billion-dollar company, but you know,
Might as
you're
well.
still a professional. You're still got fans out there. You don't want to try to take them away, but yeah, it's one of those. They're losing bad. They're
Yeah.
losing games where they could win. For instance, look at the Kansas City game. That
Okay.
could have been a win. Like some of the games they played, they've only lost by points.
Yeah. Well, think
By
about this
little.
too. You know, you're possibly coming out of one of the greatest quarterback drafts ever. Possibly. I went back just for the heck of it. Even though the Bears have fallen off a cliff lately, Caleb Williams' numbers are still pretty damn good for a rookie quarterback. You got
No,
Jaden Dan.
understandable.
You know what I'm saying? You got Jaden Daniels. You
Understandable.
got Bo Nix. You got even the kid Drake May from the Patriots. His numbers are not horrible. You know they're
No,
not
and
winning.
you see that passing percentage?
Yeah,
Unbelievable,
yeah.
huh?
So they're not winning, but he himself isn't playing horrible. And then you
He's
have
making
Michael,
himself shine.
and then you got Penix making his first start today. If I'm the Raiders, and I said this back in the spring, what in the f were they doing taking a tight end with their first pick of last year's draft? Like, who was going to throw the dude the football?
Well, who was their head
Hey,
coach? Antonio Pierce, who's probably
I
still smoking marijuana. You know?
give me another hit.
Yeah. I mean, when
I
the
get
Raiders
it,
got
but
that
I
guy, remember
don't.
the Raiders passed up on Jim Harbaugh. Can you
I
imagine
mean,
they had a chance with him? And
when
they
they
passed
did
up on him.
that, when they did that, I texted Joe immediately and was just like, "That is such a Raiders move."
Yeah. I
Like
was ready to
you,
be a Raider fan too. If they would have got Jim Harbaugh, I'd be wearing all silver and black right now. But
you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's the Raiders.
so that's another
But
team.
hey, on the point though, Bowers is leading wide receiver for them. Touchdowns. Jacoby Myers is right there, but Bowers might be getting defensive or offensive tight end or offensive rookie of the year. He's in the talks with the Washington boy and also Bo Nix.
Who
See,
knows? Maybe I'm the one that's dumb. Maybe they go out and get a quarterback, and then that quarterback and Bowers become the next Mahomes and Kelsey,
100%.
matchup. But it just I don't know. To me, when you need a quarterback desperately, you don't draft a tight end.
Yeah. Well, the Raiders just need to change their culture. I mean, just
Yeah.
like what the Chargers did. They got Harbaugh in there. That's it. We're not going to be the same old.
And I've spoke about this for a long time. I think that the Raiders are kind of like the Colorado Rockies, or the Rockies are like the Raiders. They make billions no matter what, just based on jersey sales,
Oh yeah.
So I just don't know how much motivation there is there to win. Just like the Rockies, they're going to fill the stadium 81 times a season, and the Monforts are going to make a fortune whether they win or lose. And I think you just need to get that kind of ownership out of sports. You play to win the game.
Yeah. They say commitment to excellence, but they should be committed.
They're committed to just cover, baby.
Yeah. The good old just win, baby. The Al Davis and all that. Yeah, it's too bad, man. The Raiders are just
I know. Because I love to hate them, but it's like when they're just horrible there all the time. It's like not even fun talking smack. Like, because I told Joe, Joe was like, "Oh, I'm going golfing today." I was like, "Yeah, well, you're a Raiders fan, so it's not like you could come on and say much, anyways."
Yeah, let's see. Hopefully the culture can change. Maybe with Brady now involved a little, and maybe something can change there. And that would be exciting to see. That really
Yeah.
would. I would love to see the Raiders be a decent team. I really would. So,
Yeah.
but
See, and Bentley, you made a great point. The last couple times, the last time we did have a Super Bowl quarterback, one of our old Super Bowl quarterbacks went to go see him and talk to him and say, "Hey, man, come to Denver." Everybody says you have a broken neck. Denver's willing to give you a chance. Let's see what you got there, Mr. Peyton Manning.
Yep. That was
And guess what he did for us? He took us to 2 Super Bowls, won one of them, lost the other one, terribly bad.
Yep. So, anyways, cool guys. I guess I'll just leave off. Man, it's already Christmas. Um, so
whatever happened to Brock Osweiler? Osweiler.
I don't know, man. He got paid, and that's all he needed. Like, they
Well,
got him
he's a
paid.
he's a TV guy now.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah, but he's not a TV guy where everybody knows.
I think the
Kubiak,
Texans.
Kubiak was a great coach. Remember with the
Oh my
Texans?
God, he was
took them deep
amazing.
in the playoffs. Remember, Kubiak
Yeah.
was great.
His kid's a coach now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think Kubiak walked away just because of health
He
stuff.
walked away.
Yeah, yeah.
He's such a
The
nice man.
stress was just like killing him.
Yeah, because Kubiak was a great coach. 'Cause I remember
Oh
when
yeah,
he was
Yeah.
with the Texans.
Hey, he
yeah,
was a great backup quarterback too.
yeah.
Behind he was
Elway
behind a Hall
forever.
of Fame great.
Yeah, he came in. I think he was like something like 8-1 in his career, backing up Elway.
Yeah,
So
again, it's all these offensive style head
yep,
coaches. They could turn a team around really quick, even
yep.
with crappy quarterbacks. They could do something. They could score points. That's for sure.
So I guess all I really have to say is Christmas is coming up, and Christmas is usually when the time of year when we have to make a little bit of a shift into a little game known as basketball. So we'll probably start getting Billy Hughes on in the not too distant future because as football starts to sadly fade away, basketball starts to heat up. So that's all I got, guys.
Yeah,
So
awesome.
everybody have a Merry
Merry
Christmas,
Christmas, America.
and we'll do this again next Sunday. See how we'll know. So this time next week, we'll know the outcomes. We'll be down to what, the final four of college football. Sweet. Okay, give me your
And we'll
predictions right
also
now.
find out if the
Let
Broncos
me
make the playoffs.
real quick. Is there any way? And this kind of pissed me off because all the participation trophy teams were on the same one side of that bracket, in my opinion, and that's the Georgia side. Is there any way that Georgia doesn't make it to the national champ? It's going to be Georgia and probably I'm just gonna say most likely Oregon or Texas. But like if we get Georgia, Texas, or Georgia, Oregon, Georgia just seemed like Georgia somehow. I don't know
Hey, watch out. They
who.
got a hurt quarterback. Beck is still hurt.
I'm aware he's not gonna play. It's just ugly football. You know what I'm saying? Like if you get, I don't know. How did Georgia end? Okay, my biggest problem was how did you get all the participation teams on one side of the bracket?
Rankings.
It just like what? You might as well just put Georgia in the national championship game right now, no matter who the quarterback is. And if it ends up Georgia like Oregon, who you think wins that game? Is anybody stopping Oregon? Or
I
no?
got Oregon.
Dude, they're
I got
good.
Oregon in one of the pools, and then I also have Texas on the other pool.
So that's
But
what.
they are both are facing. I hate to say it, they're all both facing Georgia.
Yeah, right, but that's the thing. I'm just not excited about watching Georgia this year in the championship game. The overall team is good, but just the quarterback play is just horrible. But they're still gonna probably end up in the national championship game. You
We'll
know?
see.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, guys. Well, we'll know more next Sunday. So everybody
All
have
right.
a good week. Have a good
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas, guys.
Merry
Adios.
Christmas.